Welcome back. As we mentioned today, we're marking the third annual National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. For more on the significance of the day, we're joined live by Keith McGrady, the Executive Director of Two-Spirited People of the First Nations. Thank you so much for joining us, Keith.
Thank you.
First of all, talk to me a little bit about the significance of today, why this is such an important day for Canadians right across the country.
Well, I think today marks the commitment, by Canadians to honor truth and reconciliation, to remember the past and move forward in a good way. So I think today is a day to kind of think about what your own personal commitments are, your commitments within your community, and commitments for the whole country.
In terms of the 2S LGBTQ plus community and the connections with Indigenous peoples and this day and the significance of this day, tie that together for us, Keith, for people who might not know.
Well, I think Two-Spirit people are part of the Indigenous community, part of, Canadian society, but the inequities are significantly more, right? Because we know being queer isn't necessarily something that's going to make anyone's life easier. And so being part of the queer community, being part of the Indigenous community, it really kind of compiles those needs, compiles the kind of issues that a lot of people have. And so we really need to remember specifically those smaller communities as well within that big circle.
And when we talk about smaller communities, in terms of Two-Spirited, there's a lot of people who are just starting to understand and be informed about this. Older generations, especially as this National Day becomes more known about as the years go on. I mean, it's only the third year that this has been something really recognized by the country. Talk to me about, again, the connection with Two-Spirited for people who might not understand what that even means, for that matter.
Right. Well, Two-Spirit is a traditional role that was in our community, and there was a disconnection, because of colonization, because of Western influence, because of the Catholic influence, things that have negatively impacted us. And so even within our own community, Indigenous community, we're really kind of remembering the past and how we were part of the circle, important, integral part of the circle, with gifts and skills that are part of making that, work. And so our community is really kind of making sure that we educate even our own community, the elders, the older folks, the new generation, to say, yes, we are part of the circle, we're valuable, we belong here, and then within the own Canadian circle as well. And so there's a lot of work to do, but I mean, today is a wonderful day for our community if this remembering our commitment is important, then to me it's a wonderful day.
And that brings me to my next point, because you're talking about the work that's being done so far in terms of the recognition. And again, we're only 3 years in. Are Canadians, do you feel, doing enough? I mean, it's one thing to have a national day like we have today, but this is something that should be recognized, obviously, all year long. Do you feel that not just younger generations, but all generations are doing enough to recognize first of all, residential school survivors, families of survivors, and then the connection with the 2S LGBTQ plus community, do you think, Keith?
Well, I think we could do much more. I think, at times we make days like this without really considering the impacts of Indigenous people, because we really